We're about to get started. My name is Lauren Bailey. My friends call me LB, and every month we host a sales shot. I love to keep these interactive with some chat back and forth, but we're having trouble with the chat today. So if you want to open up your Q&A, that's our workaround. See if you can get it started by telling us what city you're in and what your high temp was yesterday. I've got Anthony and Alicia who have figured it out. There we go. We're moving. Nice job, everybody. Thank you for helping me with the workaround. Vermont. Oh, that sounds lovely, Anna. And we were just talking about Houston, Patty. That's rough. That's super rough. So if you haven't found it yet and you're just joining us, welcome, folks. We're going to get started in 30 seconds. We love to make these interactive, but we're having trouble with our Zoom chat today. So open up Q&A and you're going to put answers in as a question. Hopefully that's not too big of a pita because I have lots of fun when we do this together. So if this is your first time joining us, we host a 30-minute sales shot every single month. So here's a look at the next 3 so you can decide if you might want to join us again. Our sales shots are short, super tip rich. We serve them up monthly. We do rep topics and manager topics, and of course they're free. So if this is your first one and you like it, we have lots of folks join us for future and invite the whole team. Now, I will tell you, I am a trainer by trade. So as much as I love edutainment and fun and webinars, it's not the same as training. So if you're joining this as a manager and you brought your team with you, thank you. Nice to have you here. And this isn't the end. I'm going to give you lots of ideas and hopefully you're going to walk away with 6 or 7 or maybe even 10 plus tips. But it's the coaching of those and the training that happens afterwards and the practice and the implementation that actually gets us using these correctly and well. And we will give you a chance to join us for some training on this again in the future. These are our 3 upcoming workshops. You can find them at factor8.com/shots. Are we ready? We're talking about demos today. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of painful demos out there. So let's stop. Here we go. The number 1 mistake I see over and over and over again on demos is our reps being a tool by making everything about the tool. Folks, stop playing tour guide. This isn't show and tell. If I can take your demo from the car, we have a problem. And I do. If you've been giving the same demo 4 or 5 times today, 10 or 20 times this week, we have a problem. Remember, even though you were trained everything about your tool, the customer isn't there for you to show off your tool. You're not showing off, you're solving a problem. Don't talk to me about the history of the tool. Don't show me every screenshot. Don't explain every tab. Don't walk through what used to be there. Don't point out what's changed. Here's what you're going to do. 3 things. Number 1, discuss their challenge. Number 2, show how you solve it. Number 3, nothing else. Their problem, how you solve it, done. That's tip number 1. Stop playing tour guide. I want you to imagine for a second. It's hard for us to think like, who wouldn't want to see this? And listen, I built a tool a couple of years ago, the Sales Bar, where we host all of our online training. And it was so easy for me to fall into this myself, even though I train people not to. So I totally get it. So I'm going to take you outside of our world for a second and have you imagine that you hate flying. Not hard to imagine, is it? But not just because you get stuck at an airport for days, right? Let's say you're really nervous, like cold sweat, panicked to fly. The pilot sees you, invites you into the cockpit, and this is what it looks like. What do you want this pilot to do? Choice one, let me walk through every one of these buttons and knobs. Choice two, here's a couple things about the safety features of this airplane. You want the pilot to customize your experience to help you, right? So that's sales shot number two. You got to customize. So I obviously have a little bit too much fun with our bar jokes when we do sales shots. So this one, my shot is a melted down snowflake, because you know everybody is a special snowflake. How do you customize your demo? You answer these 5 questions. Number 1, what are they solving? That's pretty simple, right? Hopefully you got that in Discovery or your BDR kit. Number 2, what are they avoiding? Number 3, what's their desired end state? Number 4, how do they feel about what they're doing now? Or if they don't have a solution in place, the competition, right? So maybe your widget is red and they have red and they hate it. You wouldn't want to show off it was red, right? So obviously super, super simple, but that's why you ask this question. Number 5, is there anything they've asked to see? Now let's try this Q&A again and see if this will work, right? And if it doesn't, I promise I will, I'll abandon. How many of you, I want you to put a number in your Q&A. So you're going to open up your Q&A and type in a question, and your question is going to be a number. How many of these do you typically get? Maybe it's from your BDR or SDR or your own disco before you give a demo. All 5? 1 or 2? What's your number? We'll give everybody a second to open that up and hope that it's working. If you've joined us a little bit late, and I see some of you have, our chat is disabled for some reason. So we're putting it in our Q&A. Okay, I'm looking on our other screen. Huntington Beach, not bad. I didn't see you there before, Theodore. I was just in Newport Beach with the family last week. All right, Michael's getting 3, Katie's getting 3, Tom's getting 4. Hi, Tom. Anna's getting 2, Angela's getting 3, Lori's getting 2. Yay, Dana Hamill's getting all 5. Okay, Stephanie's getting all 5. I bet you guys are doing your own disco. Theodore in Huntington Beach is getting 3. That's not bad, is it? So really good. Okay, now we use those to plan the demo. So here's a really simple graph I recommend that we use. And by the way, you can download this. Okay, the questions, 5 questions are on the left-hand side. What are we solving? What are we avoiding? What are they asked to see? What's their current solution and how they feel about it? What's their desired state? And as you plan this out, you decide, okay, here's the button, knob, widget, tab feature. I'm going to show them that highlights this. Maybe I even have 2 options, right? If I'm a nervous flyer, I could talk about our safety record. I could talk about our autopilot. I could talk about our backup engine. So I'm going to put my top 2 in the first 2 columns, and then I'm going to talk about the benefit. Now, I will tell you that unless you really work on it, human nature is to think that features are benefits when you turn them into functions, right? The benefit is this knob, or pardon me, the feature is the knob, and the function is backup safety gear of some sort. Obviously, I'm not a pilot, right? But that's not it, that's the function. The benefit, you know you found a benefit when you can answer Swift. And you know, if you come to any of our sales shots around Factor 8, that's our favorite word. Swift means, so what's in it for them, right? So if this knob is the feature and the function is it drops the backup landing gear, what's in it for me? Peace of mind, safety, quality of life, not dying. These are benefits. Cool? So translate that for each one of these. And if you find, oh my gosh, I've got 10 things I want to show, which I know happens, You're ready for sales shot number 3. Here we go. Number 3, less is more. Okay. What I've got here is 3 and out. And if you're as bad as I am at taking shots, it's 3 and lights out. Okay. Less is more. I recommend you get 3. So if you came up with 10 on your planning sheet, it's time to prioritize. Okay. You get 3. And here's what it looks like. Feature 1. Stop sharing. Discuss. Relate it to their challenge. Translate this into their world. Tell a story. Now let's move on to number 2. Repeat. Let me show you how that works. Stop sharing. Relate it to their challenge. Get their feedback. Ask some questions. Have a conversation. Gong did a study recently. Let me do my last clip. Repeat for feature 3. This is the demo. Gong did a study recently that talked about the fact that customers who talk more buy more often. And we get that. Nobody likes being sold at, right? So a customer is going to think it's a fabulous demo if they're doing more talking than you're doing. Well, the highlight of the study was the fact that when we screen share, whether it's a demo or a PowerPoint, whatever it is, when we screen share, we talk more. We go into presentation mode. I got to tell you, it's why I struggle with webinars, especially if I don't have my easy chat. I hate talking at y'all. I want to have a discussion, right? Well, so does your customer. So don't even think about sharing your screen until like minute 15. Then show, stop, discuss, right? Relate, tell a story, translate, and do it again. So here's another planning sheet you can use for this. Once you've come up with your priorities, right? You've picked your 3 and you've got yourself a backup. I'll allow 2 backups. Then you start charting it out. It says, okay, what's the customer want related to this? What do I need to show? Maybe it's a certain tab. Maybe it's not just the reporting tab, it's a certain report within the reporting tab. Then the question is, how am I going to translate this? Okay. Translation is a superpower in my world. The best sellers are translators. I can translate my solution into your world, right? Don't just show me that it builds reports. Tell me a story about how it's going to show me a report that allows me to make decisions on better hiring, better sales rewards, better shot making, whatever it is, right? Tell a story about that, about a past customer. Give examples that you know hit their pain buttons. This is the art, okay? Don't let the tool be the salesperson. All right. Again, you can download our checklists, factory.com/demos. I think I'm losing my fun background. Let's turn that off. All right, here we go, guys. Sales shot number 4. Don't stop the disco. Never stop the disco, right? It's about taking it slow. It's a slow dance at the disco. Of course, what do I mean by disco? Discovery, okay? Even if you have all 5 answers going into the demo, and if you don't have all 5, you know where to start, okay? Even if you do have all 5, slow down and start first with just good meeting management. Take some time for introductions. Walk through the agenda and get their buy-in. This is where you say, based on what I've learned, I've identified some of your top challenges, some of your biggest needs, your biggest desires, what you've asked for. Those are the 5 things, right? I'm going to show you these specific parts of our functionality. It's walking into the cockpit and the pilot saying, hey, based on the fact you're a nervous flyer and you just cried, sweat, and peed a little, I've decided I'm going to show you a little bit about our safety features, our safety records, and our backup safety gear. Are you ready to get started? Okay. So that's what you're looking for. Then do some agenda, right? Here we go. Build some deeper rapport. Take the time for it. I used to never teach this 20 years ago, right? When my reps were like, oh, I like to stop and BS a little bit. It's like, forget about it. Go past that. Here's why it's so important. Nobody trusts us anymore, right? 3% of people trust salespeople. We're like barely above politicians. So if they're coming in guarded, what you don't want to do is be the cheap, cheesy sales guy who's like, look at my fabulous tool, right? You want to be the nice guy. You want to be like the guy they really enjoy, that they want to buy from, who also has this fabulous tool that can solve their problems. All right, so we're building rapport. We're going to dig even deeper, right? Go one by one about what you heard them say. Go through their top 5. Is there anything else you can tell me about that? What are the goals we're trying to achieve? So often, you guys, we're getting demos booked by a BDR who had a 3-minute call. And folks, that's on purpose. You don't want the BDR having a 20-minute call. That's not their role. They wind up getting too far into product with questions they can't answer. But if you take a 3-minute call and try to demo against it, you're gonna have a pretty low close rate. If you don't wind up sharing your screen once in your first call, I think it's well done. What if you actually left them wanting more? What if you only had time to show one thing? Oh, I get it. It's not what your boss told you your job was, but I guarantee that you're going to close more sales. So dig more into what they're looking for. Show that you're actually listening, right? Confirm what you're going to cover with them. And once again, after each thing you show them, stop your screen share and discuss it. Hey, did that answer your questions? How do you think this would work in your organization? Does your current tool this? How does it work? How does it solve your challenges? What should it look like? In a perfect world, how would you use this? Can you see this fitting in? You have a chance to tie down, to trial close, and learn more after each feature that you're showing. You have no time to do any of that if you're trying to show everything your functions and systems or tools or demos or presentation. If you're trying to give a tour, you won't have time for this. All right, let's open up our Q&A one more time. Pop quiz. When presenting to executives, these are your final decision makers and budget holders, old white guys, what's the number? Pick a number. How complex should this feel? 1 is crazy simple. 6 is, this is layered. This is complex. Where's the sweet spot, do you think? Thank you for opening up your Q&A. Awesome. We're getting low numbers here, aren't we? Diana's at a 1. Hi, Diana. Michael's a 2. Kelly's a 2. Avarinda, I hope I didn't mess that up, but it's beautiful. 1. Angela, 5. Anonymous, 1. Leslie, 2. Lori, splitting it down the middle, loving your work, 3.5. Rebel, 1. Theodore, 1. 3, 2. I would say the quick math in my head, which is never consistent, we're landing at about a 3. Nice job, folks. You're going to die when I tell you that the answer should not be higher than 2. So pat yourself on the back, everybody who guessed that. It's really, really easy to fall into the trap of trying to show more value, right? We feel like the higher the number, the cooler the tool, the higher the value. But here's the truth. Write this down, please. We build value by solving problems, not by layering features. And the truth is, the higher up you go, right? Rep, manager, director, VP, C-level, when you're presenting to these super high executives, you need to be at a 1. Nuts, right? I didn't used to understand that. And now I kind of am that person, right? I run a couple companies. I'm all over the place. If you don't bring it to me simple, I don't hear you. I don't even know what you're talking about. Why? Because I was just doing like super finance over here a minute ago. And then I was over here doing something completely different. And then it was an employee issue. And then it was a customer thing. And right. So I need it simple. I need it kindergarten level. The best demo I've attended in the last 5 years was with Chili Piper. So if you're on the phone, congratulations to you. It was so simple. They showed me my website form. They showed me their website form. They said, that's pretty much it. The rest of it's just in the background. It's simple. They stopped sharing. We talked. I asked 5 or 6 questions. I said, I'm ready to buy. Pretty awesome, right? Keep it simple. If they want to know more, they will ask. Nothing's better than them saying, hey, could you show me how we blah, 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 blah? Hey, when we meet next time, I'd like to dig more into the yada, 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 yada. But the rest of it, it's just too much at once. You have to remember, you live in it all day long. It's easy for you. It seems simple, not for them. Pick 3 and keep it simple. And that's sales shot number 5. You got to kiss and show, not kiss and tell. So this shot is called pucker up, and kiss means keep it simple, stupid. Other people have nicer versions of that, but I'm not that nice. So here we go. These are about 10 rapid fire tips to kiss and show. Number 1, never build something live. I've been looking for a specific tool that it doesn't matter what it is, but I've been shopping for something and I ask, can it give me this report? Be clear, I asked before they ever started sharing their screen, I asked the BDR. The AE didn't customize the demo. They got there and started to build me that report. I wanted to choke him. I don't have time to watch you do your homework. I don't want to watch you do your homework because when you do, that looks impossible. So what you're telling me is that in theory, yes, I can have this report, but it's hard and it's a custom build. And I don't feel confident I could build that easily or that your system is set up to do that for me naturally. So never build live. If they want to see something, have it pre-built. All right. Always tell them what's coming. What we're going to look at now is, now we're going to dive into solving the problem of blank. And to do that, my system does this. So I'm going to jump on over to the blah, blah, blah section, and we're going to dig in. Okay. You're narrating it. It makes a difference. Otherwise, you're just the person moving the mouse all over the place. Click, 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 tab, 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 go, go, go. I think that sometimes we think we're cool that we can move so fast, but it's not a great experience. We've already covered stop the screen share often, but here is my number 1 tip. If you're going to show them those 3 or 4 functions, don't navigate through it like you normally would. Have each of those open in a separate instance and tab so that you can go right to it. White space rules, if you're doing a PowerPoint, that's how you keep it simple. And my rule is 5 clicks or less. That's why, you guys, you open multiple tabs. Because if I've gone down deep into this rabbit hole of this functionality, to go show you the next thing, I got to pull myself back out and jump down and over. That's 10 or 20 clicks. Your tool just went above a 1 or a 2. Maybe it's not really, but it felt that way to me. If you open tabs, you can already be down in your rabbit holes. They don't know the difference. It's fine, right? It needs to feel easy for them right now. They're not buying the tool, they're buying the solution. All right, the last 2 here. Hold your mouse still for the love of God. Okay, I get that you've got a lot of energy. And I don't know, folks, if you can see my mouse on this or not, but when you can see my whole desk shaking. People are like, up here, this bullet point, and their mouse is like super jacked up on crack, trying to point it out. And it's like Nervous Nelly, and I'm all over the place. Your mouse is a pointer, and that's it. Okay. So if I'm going to be talking about my first bullet point, if you can see my mouse, I will hover it over, point to my bullet point, and take my hand off the damn mouse. Okay? It's a pointer. Think of it as a laser pointer, right? And your prospects are not cats. Don't make them chase the laser pointer. It is mind-numbing and annoying, especially with a lag, right? It'll hold still and then it'll go crazy on their end. Simple extends to how you share your screen, not just what you're sharing, right? Any new system feels like this to a customer. It's easy for you, right? I'm just going to navigate, pop, 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 and I'm going to turn left over here, no big deal. But to them, it feels like this six-turn roundabout in a foreign country, right? Now, if this were in your neighborhood, you'd be like, oh, it's actually simple. You just pop through and blah, 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 blah. You take your third right. But any of the rest of us look at this for the first time and be like, I'm sorry, where do I go? How do I do this? So when possible, don't always go back and navigate from the beginning. Keep the tabs open, keep it simple while you show. Let them ask you to dig in for more. Don't come up with an idea that they might suddenly be interested to see the super specific example of the blah, 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 blah. Okay? All right. Oh, my arrows. All right, here we go. My last tips, folks. Most of what we're talking about for demos here is about planning, research, prioritization, preparation. Like I said, if you've given the same demo 10 times this week, you know you've got a little bit of work to do. It's going to take better discovery. It's going to take deeper conversations. It's going to take better selling, which I am all about. I'm on a mission to bring that pride back to sales. So here are some steps to plan a fantastic demo. Research those 5 key questions. Plan additional questions to help you clarify and fill in the gaps. Remember when you used to be doing all that discovery? It ain't over just because you're showing a tool. Prioritize that demo list. What if the conversation is fantastic and you only have time to show one feature? Know what the most important one is to the customer by getting those 5 answers. Narrow that list to 3, 1 or 2 backups, and translate. When you talk about it from a tool point of view, you're being a typical seller. When you talk about it to the customer's point of view, now you've translated, right? When you come in the morning and you need to run a report about your sales rep's activity for the previous day and get that up on the leaderboard, all you've got to do is pop in here and look, it's done for you. Click this one button and everybody on your team has what they need. That is me translating a simple report in the tool, right? Most reps will go in and say, all right, now here's a list of all your reports. You've got this one, you've got this one, you've got this one. That's giving a tour. Hopefully that helps you feel the difference. It's tough because we all have different tools and I wind up saying blah, blah, and yada, yada a lot. Prepare your screen ahead of time. If you're pretty sure they're going to have questions about the yada, yada, and the whatchamacallits, have those tabs open. Prepare your agenda ahead of time. Most people don't, right? You're going to confirm the meeting anyway, I hope. Tell them that based on what you've learned so far, this is what you plan on covering so that we're ready. It's fine, they won't read it, but they'll think well of you that you sent it. All right, if you've got questions, get them in there. I want to let you know that we do have this class in an upcoming masterclass. So masterclasses are rep level cohort training. We run about 8 a year, okay? They fill up super fast because they're very inexpensive. Each masterclass has 3 or 4 online classes plus live interaction and coaching with that cohort. Like I said, we typically work with really large companies where we're customizing all this training for them and their teams, but the master classes are ways that you can send in 1 or 2 people or 3 or 4 people. We usually cap it there. If you're looking to send more people, call us, we'll work with you. but you can get $200 off, which makes it cheap. Factor8.com/masterclass. You'll see all of them coming up. This demo class is in our deal progression masterclass that happens in Q4, so there's plenty of time. The next one starting is our prospecting masterclass. That one's on August 3rd. The promo code, in case you can't see my screen, is MC for masterclass _200 to get $200 off, and you can join us in the bar and have some fun. Here's my information. If we haven't already, let's connect on LinkedIn. That's my personal email address. Always love to hear from you. And that's our phone number. And you can find us at factor8.com, thesalesbar.com, and of course, my passion project, wearegirlsclub.com. If you've got questions, pop them in. I'll hang back another minute. Otherwise, thank you so much for coming and drinking with me this morning. I hope you have a fabulous weekend, and I hope I see you and your team next time. Thanks, everybody.